Welcome to the Mike on Much podcast. I am joined right now in downtown Toronto with my friend and trusty producer Max Kerman, as well as our pop culture aficionado Shane Cunningham. Fellas, it's always great to be with you guys.
It's great to be here.
Yeah. Our turnaround time has been pretty quick because we've been so busy lately. I feel like our pods have been few and far between as far as our recording time.
Yeah.
I feel like we all just saw each other a few days ago.
I know, I like it though.
It's nice.
Yeah, I wish we had a daily show.
Honestly.
One day.
Put it out in the universe and maybe something like that could happen. Today on the show, for our listeners, we have repeat guest and friend of the pod, Julia Michaels. Big time songwriter. Max, hit us with some of her big hits that she's written.
Ooh, some Justin Bieber songs, some Keith Urban songs, a Maroon 5 song.
Did she write Hands to Myself?
She did.
That's the best song.
It's a fantastic song. Selena Gomez.
She's amazing.
She's great. So she's returned to chat with Max and I. Maxie, you were in the room because you're a fan.
I'm a fan, and I deliberately was like, I know we've had her on the show, but I want to have her again because I want to meet her.
That's right.
It was more of a networking opportunity for me.
Yeah.
Seriously, I was like, if I get a co-write with her one day, that'd be cool.
It's the biggest bomb of her career, though.
It ruins her somehow. Yeah. That'd be very Larry David-esque.
Dun, 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 dun.
We will
N-words in it.
get to Julia in a little bit, but before we get to the wonderful Julia Michaels, fellas, what's been going on in your lives?
Well, speaking of female songstresses, was that what
you nailed it.
Yeah. We had a gig in Thunder Bay this weekend.
Oh, yes.
Just got back. And I was actually pretty excited about it because, you know, when you play these summer festivals, it's all kinds of different bills. So sometimes, like, when you're in some small towns, like, you're playing with a bunch of people you've never heard of. Sometimes you're playing, you know, rock festivals with, like, big rock acts. This weekend in Thunder Bay, the two headliners were Sarah McLachlan and Sheryl Crow.
What you're saying is sometimes you get Sheryl Crow, and sometimes you get David Wilcox doing the Bearcat.
Exactly.
No offense to any of the David Wilcox
I don't get
fans.
that at all.
Well, just like sometimes you really luck out and are on an awesome bill.
Oh, okay.
Do you know David Wilcox?
Is that an SNL character?
No, he's like a huge Canadian. He's had two big hits.
Name one.
Do the Bearcat.
Okay. I do not remember that hit.
What's the other one?
I don't know.
Oh, man. I'll look it up.
Okay.
Keep going. Sheryl Crow.
So anyways, I was pretty excited about it. We hadn't played Thunder Bay in a while, and I'm a big Sheryl Crow fan, and I really love Sarah McLachlan too. So are you a Sheryl Crow fan?
Of course.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Love Sheryl Crow. Are You Strong Enough, or Strong Enough is what it's called. That song's phenomenal.
That song's amazing. If it makes you happy, I've been saying this for the last decade, that's my favorite vocal performance of any pop singer in the last 40 years. Like, the way her voice breaks up in the chorus, like, if it makes, like, it's just perfect. It's kind of like that effect, like when you turn up a guitar amp just enough, and so it breaks up just a little bit, so it has that right amount of grit. CanCon
in the video. There's a Mountie in that video.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And her career, you know, she has so many hits. Anyway, so I was just so excited to play our set and then kind of get a little buzz on and watch Sheryl Crow and then Sarah McLachlan. McLachlan was finishing the night. Now, another reason why I was looking forward to the gig is that we have a song called Book Club. And now I posted this clip on Arkel's Instagram and Facebook if you want to check it out. But basically, the story of Book Club...
That's my favorite Arkel song.
Is it?
It is.
Oh,
yeah, I really like that song.
Oh, really? So the song is about a few things, but kind of takes place with my friend Matt, who I grew up with, driving me around to Union Station in his mom's car when we were 17, 18 years old. You know, and Matt has sort of like weird taste in music, and he likes to listen to like jazz and blues, which is always, I think, kind of strange for like a 17-year-old kid from Toronto. And I would want to listen to like rock or rap or whatever. But the one thing we both kind of agreed on was Women in Songs, volume 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Because if you're our age and you had an older sister or a mom, there's a good chance that CD was like very big part of your life. Like, I feel like a lot of my friends, like everyone's mom had Women in Songs.
Of course.
And of course, if you're a child of the 90s, Lilith Fair was a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
Lilith Fair was started by Sarah McLachlan. On Women in Songs Volume 3, Sheryl Crow and Sarah McLachlan are back-to-back, tracks 7 and 8.
Dixie Chicks are on there, too.
Everyone's, Alanis Morissette, Natalie Imbruglia, like every great female act in the 90s is on that. So anyway, I was just like really looking forward to like having a night. It was Anthony's birthday that night, and we were just kind of like really looking forward to it.
One note about Book Club, you know, when you say, I was going on, Maddie, I always thought it was Maddie, a girl's name.
I know.
I thought that too.
Girls think it's about a girl named Madeline, but no.
But it's your buddy Matt.
My friend Matt. who I call Maddie.
Setting the record straight. Go on.
Yeah. So we play our set, and I tell that whole story going into book club about how the music of Sarah McLachlan and Sheryl Crow like brought together two quarreling 17-year-old boys. Like,
And when you tell the story on Instagram, you're swearing like a sailor.
I know.
You're like, listen, motherfucker. I was like, does it need the swearing? Like, this is about women in songs.
Yeah, I think because I was like nervous telling the story, and like I hadn't told the story, so it wasn't like part of the bit. Hadn't told that story in a long time. I think I was like a little bit nervous. I was generally happy with the execution, but I was swearing.
6 fucks.
Really?
Yeah.
See,
Did you count them?
Yeah.
I haven't seen this clip. Is this your story, or did you post this on Instagram?
It's on Instagram.
Oh, good. Okay,
Yeah,
I gotta
so
watch
check
this.
it out.
Yeah.
I didn't count. There's a lot of fucks.
Yeah, there's a lot. I was like, holy fuck, holy shit. Yeah, I was swearing.
You
a
were
lot.
excited, man.
I was
You were
excited.
juiced.
So the set happened. People seemed to like it. We had a good response. I was happy with our set. So then go off stage, like have a couple beers. Like work is done for the night. It's like 7 o'clock. Sheryl Crow goes on stage. She opens with Every Day's a Winding Road. Ooh. And then just the set goes on and on and on. It just has like hit after hit. So now this is kind of funny. So this younger band that played earlier, I forget their name, but they are from like our neck of the woods, who are going on tour through Thunder Bay. They come out, oh, can I have your photo? We're big fans. It's such a huge honor to play with you guys.
Of you.
It's us.
Yeah.
And I was heading back to the stage, and just as he's talking to me and showering me with praise, I hear from the stage, Sheryl Crow goes, "Give it up for the Arkells." Oh my God, they were amazing. Any band that's into women in songs, any guy that's into women in songs, that's good with me. So, because normally when you play with like a big international touring act, they're not watching the opening bands.
They may not even be there yet.
Yeah, usually they roll in 10 minutes before. So
Yeah.
the fact that she's referencing something that I had said, something I never thought that she'd actually hear, I was like so excited about.
That's phenomenal.
So, but then the problem is that this little shit was talking to me.
You missed your moment.
Well, and the thing is, but then I had to go like, listen, what he's doing to me right now is what I would be doing to Sheryl, so I need to respect him. So I really try my best to give him his full attention, full due. But in my mind, I was like, get me the fuck out of this conversation. I want to go right to the stage. So at this point, I'm feeling so fucking good about myself that Sheryl Crow like knows who we are, gave us a shout out. I go around to the kind of the side stage, and her band sort of like nodding at me and the other guys in our band, just like kind of smiling because they recognize us. Then I go around to sort of the pit, like the photo pit, and there's nobody else in the photo pit. So a couple security guards, but I'm kind of off to the side. And Sheryl Crow like looks at me and smiles and kind of gives me like a head nod. So at this point, I'm like on top of the world. And when you're like a little bit drunk and you start kind of having fantasies,
Like hall pass stuff?
not hall pass stuff, but more like, she was there with her children. I'm like, I could be their father. Kind of,
What? The hall pass was the weird thought? No, not a hall pass. Parenting her kids.
Yeah. and then it's like, she's dated like a bunch of heavy hitters. Owen Wilson, Lance Armstrong. Like she was Michael Jackson's backup singer.
Why didn't you assume she dated Michael Jackson?
Yeah, why not? Or at least her children. That's his fantasy.
So then I start kind of thinking about like, our future together, right? And then,
Of course.
Yeah, of course.
You're kind of in that mood, and I was like imagining my name on her Wikipedia page. Like then in 2018, she dated Arkel. When you do that thing.
Specific mood, but yes.
Yeah. So anyway, so that happened.
When you're drunk, I don't know if I've ever been that drunk.
I don't know. So that happened. So I'm feeling so good. Also, one of the reasons why we even got the gig in the first place is that Carter Hutton, who is an NHL goalie, played for the St. Louis Blues. We met him in St. Louis on tour. He's from Thunder Bay. He's there with his family, and like they're super happy to see me. So I'm just feeling kind of like royalty. Like Sheryl Crow's giving me a shout out. There's an NHL goalie like is texting me asking for beers. Like I'm just kind of like feeling like a big shot. And so then Sheryl Crow's done. I go back to the bus and kind of hang out with the guys in my band. I run into Mike D like 10 minutes later, and he has this kind of look in his eye, and he goes, "Yo, Max, check this out." And Mike D's never like particularly smug about anything. Whips out his phone, shows me a picture with him and Sheryl Crow. So I go, oh, that's amazing. But in my mind, I'm like, that motherfucker.
Oh, yeah, you got to get one.
I was so jealous. I got so jealous. So then I'm sort of like,
Well, that's your future wife.
This is my future wife. Like, stay the way for my woman. Back off. So then I see her outside of her bus like 15 minutes later. But I changed my jackets. So I was like, oh, is she going to recognize me? I don't know. And then she's taking a picture with somebody else. So I kind of feel a little lame because I'm now, I'm not her peer anymore. I'm sort of like that fan waiting for a photo.
Yeah, of course.
You got it.
And
well,
then-
this is McCartney's whole thing. Are you a friend? Or
Are you a friend? I
Or
know.
are you a friend or are you a fan?
Anyway, I get the photo. She's super nice. Couldn't be nicer. But then because I was like probably just like a little too buzzed, I start doing the thing where I'm like trying to have some sort of personal connection, like the Bill Hader thing that happened to me last week.
Yeah.
Where I just start throwing out random references at her.
Yeah.
So I'm like, do you know Mark Needham? like the guy who's mixing our record, but live in LA.
Yeah,
She's
the
like,
noise afterward is weird, though.
that doesn't help. No, in my mind, that's how I'm sounding.
Oh, right. Yeah, yeah, I get it.
And she's like, no, I don't know that guy. And I threw another one. She's like, yeah, kind of. Like, so all my references are falling flat.
Oh.
And my...
Has the photo happened yet?
The photo happened already.
Oh, no. Now you're just hanging around.
So now I'm just sort of
hanging.
hanging around, and I'm sort of making... I was asking her about, like, producing. Who produced your new record? I feel like I'm trying to ask intelligent questions that, like, a peer would ask, not like a nerdy fan would ask. But it's just not going good. And, like, in my mind... Like I'm going from like royalty to like just.
Well, you were probably hoping that fan came back around to like ask for your autograph or a
This is
picture.
it. It would have been very cool if I had my own fans swarming
Where's that
me.
little shit?
It's like, where's that guy when I need him? So
So you're slowly falling down this totem pole that you were on literally 25 minutes before.
yeah, exactly. So I'm just feeling so stupid. And then I kind of like, okay, see you later. And I just sort of like shrug my shoulders and just kind of like walk away, just like feeling really dumb. So that happens. So the other part of the night that I had been meaning to get around to is that we have this People's Champ contest, right? Or not even a contest, but we're like awarding kind of local members of the community that have been leaders or have done good deeds with these People's Champ medals. Have you guys seen those?
Yeah. On your social media.
Yeah, so and we've given them like to school teachers, bus drivers, or whatever. And manager Ash and I had this idea to give one to Sarah McLachlan because she is like the ultimate People's Champ. So I kind of collect myself after my disastrous Sheryl Crow meeting. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to give Sarah McLachlan this People's Champ medal because I think it's kind of a nice little thing. She doesn't. We've met her on a couple of occasions. And so she kind of knows who we are. And we know her band really well because Luke Doucette, Melissa McClellan from Whitehorse are in her band. Like they're peers of ours. They're from Hamilton. They've lived in Hamilton. So I write her this note on just a piece of paper. Be like, yo, Sarah, you're the fucking best. Like, keep doing, like, you know, she has like a music schools in Vancouver and Edmonton for like low-income children.
She's
like,
a true philanthropist.
100%. That's like she's known for that just as much as she's known for her tunes. So she finishes her set. I'm like, you know, I'm just going to go right on the bus. I go on the bus. I see Sarah. She's talking to somebody.
Security doesn't stop you.
No. Luke and Melissa are sitting on the other couch in the bus. I have the People's Champ medal and the card in my hand. I'm like, hey, Sarah. I'm about to be like, hey, you know, I had this kind of like launch into this thing that I wanted to just like kind of give her. Who's she talking to?
Sheryl Crow.
Sheryl Crow.
No.
Shit.
So the person turns around. It's Sheryl Crow, and to me,
There's Max again. Hey, guys.
this is it. In my mind, Sheryl Crow's like, this fucking guy again?
Yeah.
What the fuck's this? Who let him on the bus? Like, get him out of here. So then I was like, I got to get the fuck out of here. I was like, hey guys, just wanted to say, thanks so much for having us. Our bus is rolling. I made a point of saying bus. So like we're a band on a bus, not in a fucking tour van. And then I just crumple up the paper and the medal and then just put it kind of on the shelf, like in the corner of the bus on my way out. So Sarah McLachlan might find this medal on her bus.
But the note you wrote is there too?
Yeah, it's there too.
Oh,
That's exactly what I would have done.
I was just like,
that's so heartbreaking.
As soon as Sheryl Crow turned around, I was like, oh, fuck me. I was like, I can't do this ceremonial thing, even if I tried to make it cute, because Sheryl Crow's going to be like, what the fuck is this? Who is this guy?
Miss
Why does he...
McLachlan, I'm here to bestow this medal upon you. If you bow your
Champ is here.
It's like, why is he carrying around a medal?
What is wrong with
Who
this
the
guy?
fuck is it?
I'm going to my bus now.
So I just slinked off into the night.
Heartbreaking.
Yeah. So that was Thunder Bay.
Cheryl tweeted at you.
Now, this was the redeeming thing, is that in our conversation, she said, oh, tweet that picture. I'll make sure to share it. You guys were amazing. And by the way, I'm making Sheryl Crow out. Maybe some listeners are like, oh, was she not as friend? No, Sheryl Crow was as nice and cool and like laid back and like generous with her time and like authentic and real to everybody. Like it doesn't kind of get better than meeting her when it comes to celebrities.
I think you've made it very clear to our listeners that you were the weirdo in this exchange.
100% the weirdo. And she couldn't have been nicer. So then the next day we tweet the thing. And then she's like, this band, and she gives us like this amazing compliment on Twitter. It's like, what a awesome, I forget exactly what she said, but it was like very sweet and nice, and God bless her.
All right. Well, man, that story had a little bit of everything, you know? Flying high, going low, and then redemption at the end.
Yeah.
But today on the show, fellas, we have, for the second time, like I said up the top, Julia Michaels. She, right now, has an EP out that I think has been out for quite some time, Maxie.
Yeah, it's been out since spring.
Called Nervous System.
Was Julia more guarded now that she was more famous this time around?
No, she was actually just as nice as because I met her very briefly at the MMVAs. I wasn't there for the first one, but she was basically the same.
But
right?
you can be nice, but I mean, was she less open to be like, oh, I'm dating Shawn Mendes?
No.
We didn't ask that. Here's what, so yeah, like I talked to her the first time and we had a lot more time and she was like really open. Go back and listen. She was really cool. This time I felt like she was exactly the same. She remembered the first conversation.
Yeah, she totally recognized you.
Yeah.
She was like, oh, your hair was longer.
Yeah, at the end, she's like, yeah, your hair was longer and you had a penis. She's like, I like it more now.
Yeah.
Thank you, Julia.
And I think she's obviously super talented. Like the hits speak for themselves. But I've also heard that, like, from people at Universal, that she's just the best hang, like, and just is totally sincere and genuine. And I feel like that is a common characteristic with successful co-writers, because ultimately, if you're Adam Levine or Keith Urban or Bieber, like, you want somebody who's like sweet and good to be around and seems like you can be vulnerable around them. And she strikes me as the kind of person that would just be like a very fun person to collaborate with.
Yeah.
She just has that demeanor about her. So yeah. And sometimes I say this to kind of young musicians asking for advice. I'm like, part of being like a good collaborative musician is just being a good hang. Because if you're somebody who kind of exudes the wrong kind of energy or is nervous or is uptight or whatever, people just don't want to be around it. It's as simple as like, do I want to be around this person in a studio for 12 hours a day? And if the answer is no, then you're probably not going to get the work. So the fact she's wickedly talented and also just has this like pleasantness about her, I think has served her really well.
Are you a cool guy to be around?
Don't ask Sheryl Crow.
No.
Yeah. Let's get to it.
If you are tuning in maybe just to hear Julia Michaels and this is your first time here, you can find us everywhere at Mike on Much on Instagram and Twitter. Everywhere podcasts are found, at Google Play, Stitcher, iTunes, YouTube if you're watching at your desk. All over the place. We have over 100 episodes, 100 future interviews with so many fascinating and accomplished people. So please check us out at Mike on Much. Guys, let's get to Julia Michaels.
Let's do it.
It was almost exactly a year ago.
I think so,
Yeah.
We're gonna roll on it.
Okay.
A lot of time. Though.
Yeah.
We're prepped.
Cool. Yeah. Sweet. Yeah. Awesome. When'd you get to town?
Yesterday.
Nice.
Yeah, I got here yesterday.
Where are you coming from?
Fort Lauderdale.
Oh,
we
nice.
just finished the first leg of the Maroon 5 tour.
Oh yeah. How's it going?
It's going really good. Yeah. So we finished that and came straight here, and then we leave from here tonight to France for a couple days.
Oh.
Yeah.
Just for press stuff or a gig?
Yeah.
Oh,
Just
nice.
well for both. Yeah.
Did you get that Maroon 5 tour from the co-write? Or how did because you have a song with...
Yeah, Help Me Out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that sort of how the thing came together?
Yeah, it is. We have been obviously fans of each other for a minute, and then we did Help Me Out. And he was like, you should come on tour with me. And I was like, and he's like, no, seriously, you're coming on tour with me. I was like, okay. So, yeah, so we just finished that one. And then we got 20 more shows together.
Wow. How are you finding those big rooms? Like, are there amphitheater shows?
They're really different. I just did a tour with Niall Horan in Europe, and we did theaters. So it was like 600 to 7,000 people each in different places, and you can see everyone's face, and they're super interactive, and they want to sing everything with you and be involved, and when you're in an arena, it's so big that you feel like you're singing to sort of an abyss.
What's your eye line in an arena?
Well, so the way they have the stage built, it's like this big V that connects at the bottom, and then there's a pit of people, and then there's just a huge crowd of people around it. Yeah. And I'm only able to go on certain parts of the stage, so my eye line is usually the people in the pit.
Just right there in front of you.
Yeah, right there, which I don't mind. I like.
Well, you're connecting.
I just wish there were more of them instead of the little tiny bubble.
Yeah, I was trying to okay, if it's weird headspace at a particular show, it's all right, I have to remind myself, find the smiling person who's singing along.
Oh yeah, that's
just
what I
just
do.
think about that
every
person
single time. Yeah, and I had to really work on that for this tour. Even if there's one person singing every word, it's I'm here for you.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
With I'm kind of always curious about Adam Levine, because he's really transitioned from, in my mind at least, a band dude into a full-on sort of pop star.
Yeah.
And so when Maroon 5 is putting together a song, is it mostly Adam and the band comes in later, or does Adam just take fully written songs and just sings over top of it? How collaborative is he?
Adam is one of these rare people that can hear a song and know that it's gonna work. I don't know a lot of people that have that pop instinct that it works so well for. He is one of the only people I know that can curate an album and it feel cohesive and full of just hits. I don't know how he does it, but even just working with him in the studio, I mean, there's always people around, the band's around, his friends are around, and he just knows. It's so special. I can't do that. I don't know. I know maybe a handful of people that can.
Sure, yeah. So he's more of the conductor. He's all right, that's going to work, that's going to work.
He's the curator.
Yeah, that's cool.
Big picture guy. He's like the Steve Jobs.
Yeah.
He is like the Steve Jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You played last night with Shawn Mendes.
I sure did.
It was all over everyone that works here in the building. It was all their Instagram stories were you guys up on stage doing your thing.
Yeah.
Good show, fun times.
Oh yeah, this was my first real set in Toronto last
Really?
night. Yeah, I know, right?
I know you've done the awards. You did them at VAs.
Yeah.
So just a song here or there, but
yeah, this was my first. Yeah, that's my only performance I've done here.
Oh wow, nice. Where was it? It was the Mod Club.
I think it looked like it was
Mod
at
Club.
Oh, it was at the Mod.
It was at the Mod Club.
Wow.
Yeah, nobody knew. It was just all
secret show.
Yeah, it was a secret show.
Yeah.
It was awesome. I wasn't even supposed to do that, but his team found out we were going to be here the same week, and they were like, come open for us. So we just did a really small acoustic set. We did just a few songs, and
that's awesome.
then came out and sang with him our song together, and it was great.
Well, that's what we wanted to ask about. The song is Like to Be You.
Yeah.
And you guys co-wrote that together, obviously.
We sure did, yeah.
Jump right into that. Walk us through that. Is that song you had? Is it a song he had? How does that come together?
So that's the song we wrote together, actually. We had gone on tour together, and we had talked about writing together for a while, and it didn't pan out until it panned out. And
so what does that look like? It's we'll get together and we'll write.
Yeah.
And then it's just you never get in a room.
Yeah, it's like people that are like, hey, we should hang out, and then never do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then you have to be somewhere not in where you actually live to go for lunch, like
Yes.
Toronto. It's
Yeah. Totally.
It's I guess we'll go for lunch across the continent.
In 6 months.
Yeah.
So we finally got together. We wrote 3 songs in 2 days, and of those 3 songs, 2 made the album: Nervous and Like to Be You. And yeah, we finally got to do it, and it was really special.
Were you around for the John Mayer producing section of the session?
I was not around for that. I'm more like words, lyrics.
Yeah.
Make sure that's all cohesive and right, and then I'm like, cool, you can do that. I'll see you later. I'm gonna go take a bath. My puppies.
Can't wait to hear it.
Yeah.
Do you know how to work computers?
Oh, hell no.
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 Yeah, I'm right there with you. I don't know anything.
I stick with what I know.
Yeah.
I put my 10,000 hours into writing. I don't know anything about that. I'm like, what's this button do?
Yeah. Yeah, totally. It's like my only studio expertise is asking for the aux chord. Like, yo, anybody got an aux chord? I want to show you an idea. Yeah.
The extent of my abilities is turning up my vocal in the studio.
Let's crank my voice a little bit.
Yeah.
You said you wrote 3.
Yeah, we wrote 3.
What happens with the third song?
That's up to him if he wants to give it to someone else or put it on a different situation. Yeah.
So even though you guys co-wrote together, he walks away with the third song because you're more there sort of in support of him as opposed to like a collaboration. That's an interesting dynamic.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm there for him, I'm there for him.
Who out of the co-writes you've done, because I mean, the last time we talked, you sang, I wasn't there for it, but listening back, you sang the original Bieber lyrics for Sorry.
Yeah.
And it was awesome just hearing your voice sing it.
You told the story about how it's staccato.
Yeah.
You go, and then you guys had to change it on the second round of revisions.
Yeah, we did.
And I love that. It was like so cool to hear like it in its initial form. With other co-writes, like are there any artists that sort of surprised you? Like, oh, this person really knows, like, you know, is way more into songwriting than I assumed they'd be. Like, does anybody stick out to you in particular?
Yeah, I mean, all the time. I mean, Shawn is a great example of that. You always hope that the person that's singing these songs, like as a pop artist, is writing these songs, but unfortunately, that's not always the case. And I mean, that's not like a diss to anybody.
It's not an indictment on their talent.
I mean, there's so many, like, you don't have to be a songwriter and a singer and a model and
a dancer
and like make your own clothes and like all of this stuff, you know? You don't have to be so all-encompassing. You can be one thing and be absolutely amazing at it. Performing in itself is a talent. Like, So, you know, I think.
But when you see someone who can do a bunch of those things and write songs, you're like, oh.
I'm like, okay, I see you.
Yeah.
And that was Shawn for me. He really wants to prove himself and show people that he can actually write, and he can actually write.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
As a songwriter, have you ever watched the movie Music and Lyrics with Drew Barrymore and Hugh Grant?
No,
I have not.
I haven't.
I just threw it out there. That's more for my brother. He's a big movie buff.
Nice.
I'll send you the link to the movie. It's a real
People
gem.
say I look like her.
Do they really?
Drew?
Mm-hmm.
I can see a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now you have to see this movie.
I can see it. A certain era of Drew.
Yeah. Basically, he's a former pop star, like a Wham, like a George Michael type. But the other guy, Andrew Ridgeley, and she's like the cleaner at the house. And then she helps him write a song. It becomes a big hit.
Fantastic.
And then it's their relationship. I don't know why I'm getting into music and lyrics.
No one's talking about that
music
movie.
And lyrics.
Well, I know you love Worse Than Me.
Oh yeah,
So we were going to ask you to walk us through that. Yeah,
Sure.
that's
Yeah,
a gem.
and the chords to me are so like kind of Coldplay in a way. I don't know if that or just the piano sound. It kind of reminded me of like a Chris Martin sound. But yeah, walk us through writing that one.
So
That song's amazing, listeners. By the way, listen to it. I think I tweeted about it the day it came out. I was like, "This song is killing me right now."
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that song. I wrote it actually the night I got in a fight with my ex. And it was the same lyrics, but a different melody. And we were in the studio. It was our last day that we had together, me, Justin Tranter, and Mattman and Robin. And we had done the whole Nervous System EP together, mini album together. And he was playing chords, and I had this idea. And then I just reworked the melody so that it fit with the words that I wanted to use for that chorus. And I sang it, and they were like, yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, the vocal's so intimate. It's like really, it feels like you've just gone to a fight with your ex.
Yeah. I wrote it on the piano at his house.
Oh, wow.
And then reworked it in the studio.
Okay, we have 2 minutes, so we have one more question. And related to that, because the last time we talked, you said like, you know, when you're writing lyrics, you really need to feel it. It needs to come from a real honest place of experience. What happens if you're like, the last few weeks, I've been hanging out in Toronto.
Not much is popping.
Yeah, I'm going to France. Like, I'm not that angsty about anything. But, like, what happens if the well runs dry for a couple weeks? Is that a tough place to be in, or do you just go to that place somehow naturally?
Well, I luckily have a lot of have the ability to reimagine the past.
Okay.
So I do a lot of that. Like my new single "Jump," I wrote that about somebody that was trying to like court me basically, and I was just not ready for it. I was still very much heartbroken, but he was so lovely, and I was just like, if you would have given me just like an inch more time, then this probably could have happened. But yeah.
So you just went back in time in your head and tried to like think about every little detail.
Yeah.
That's good.
I'm really good at details.
Are you writing them down, or is your brain just sort of like catalog them all and stay there, ready to be pulled out for you at all times?
Yeah. I like to say that my brain, when I write, is like the. Have you seen The Price is Right?
I've heard of it.
Okay.
The television show?
Yes.
Yes, of course.
You
It's
know
like
the
one of the most famous shows
like
ever.
the big spinning wheel that they pull?
Sure.
That's my brain when I'm writing, and each tile is a memory. And then it just sort of goes... That's what we're going to write about.
It's like, that asshole. Go.
Yeah. And then I just sort of piece together different things that I remember from that core.
Do you ever take like someone else's experience, that like a friend who's told you, it's like, oh, and then you like take a detail of that and put it into your
You'll
own
tell
thing?
their story?
Totally.
Yeah.
I've
parts of
definitely
it,
done that. Yeah.
Nice.
Because sometimes they don't know how to like articulate it themselves.
Sure.
So
That's
I'm
your
like, ooh,
gift.
this could be a really fun song. Like not only for them, but for me too. Because I've definitely been through this situation. It's just a different perspective of looking at it, you know?
Yeah. That's cool. Okay, you guys got to go.
We gotta send you off to do more press.
This is awesome.
fun.
But thanks for coming
Burning
back.
questions I've been dying to ask you.
These are great.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Welcome to The Desserts. We are joined by our friend and pop culture aficionado, Shane Cunningham. Shane, how you doing, man? I mean, you were here off the top. I don't know why I'm acting like we don't know how you're doing.
Well, we are recording this first.
You're giving them a peek behind the curtain.
Yes.
For our listeners, we are recording this first, and then we're going to do the open after.
Mike's busted in a lie.
I know. It's showbiz, man.
Speaking of showbiz, my intern contest has taken off. And so I'll get to that in a second, but I just like to report the numbers. Like, this episode hasn't been out very long at all, the last episode, where I begged people to watch my Jersey Shore digital dessert.
Yeah.
So it had 358 views and one comment
Yeah.
the last time we recorded. Now, how many views do you think it has?
500.
I'll go with 420.
435. Editor's update. When I went to edit this podcast, it had jumped to 615 views.
Wow.
Which, pod's been up for 2 days.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. And one of those days was a weekend.
Hey,
Pretty much halfway through Saturday.
never underestimate the power of pandering.
Yeah.
It's true.
Or wait, is it pandering?
Or begging.
Begging.
Yeah.
No,
Begging.
pandering is when you're
pandering is when you talk down to someone.
No,
right?
it's when you suck up to somebody. You're pandering to them.
Yeah, when you're appealing
Is
to
that-
their sensibilities, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I thought it meant when you like talk down to someone and appeal to their sensibilities.
I don't know.
Don't pander.
But I wanted to show you one of the submissions for the intern contest.
Okay.
It's good. Like, they did their research on kind of my sense of humor, or maybe this is just their sense of humor too.
Wow. All right, let's watch
You guys
it.
haven't seen this?
No.
Okay.
Seriously.
Hi, my name is Justice Hargrove, and I want to be the intern for Shane's Digital Dessert. I've never been late for a dentist appointment or a date. I only ever stand on the right-hand side of the escalator. I'm always at least slightly anxious. I love working in new media. I also love being the kind of person who says shit like new media. The last 9 months, I've been a volunteer producer for a video podcast where my greatest accomplishment was actually bringing this whole team. Hi. Hamilton is in there.
Wow.
Actually on our show. I may not have gone to Ryerson, but I just recently graduated the public relations program at St. Clair College, so clearly I need to pad my resume. See, I currently live in Windsor, Ontario, but I hate it. And I'm looking for any reason to move back in with my family in Toronto. But more importantly, I want that picture of Max Kerman.
Wow, that's well
Holy
done.
shit, man.
Oh, man. That was amazing.
Yo, whoever's submitting after that has a lot to live up
Yeah.
to.
Do you think she's playing up to my sensibilities, or do you think that's...
No, she was at the live show.
Yeah, that's Justice. So
Yeah.
Justice is a fan.
I know her. Yeah.
So I would say I think she is. I think she knows exactly what your sense of humor. I think she absolutely cleverly.
And she nailed it too.
Yeah.
Yeah. 'cause
That thing when she like walked away and then turned around.
You know what that is? That's some good pandering.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought pandering was.
Yeah. Yeah, appealing to one's sensibilities.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Shit, man. Good luck to everybody else.
Do you think that's a real submission?
Yeah.
Because she lives in Windsor.
Yeah.
Is she really going to move to Toronto?
Oh, I mean,
And,
that's a
like,
question you'll have to ask her.
that's on
as
you- yeah.
the boss.
That's a huge cross to bear to like have someone move cities for a digital dessert. I
That
shoot
happens
maybe
once every month.
Yeah. So that's number one. I still want more submissions to come in.
Yeah.
My idea is to kind of have a game show too. To have people on and have a really interactive interview process.
Okay. Yeah, so this is like The Apprentice. You're like Donald Trump.
Yeah, I like getting
He's the Prime Minister of Canada in 10 years.
but I do like getting people to do stuff for me. And I think he's a fan of the pod, but we've been interacting. He's had some issues with the Go Bus. So
A kindred spirit.
I'll get him to explain it, but I basically sent him on a little mission for me to get to the bottom of what's up with it. And I'm going to call him right now.
Wow.
Oh, wow, okay.
And he says he's the only person on earth more awkward than me. So
Oh, good.
So
I
this
took that as an
person reached out because of your plight against the Go Bus from Hamilton, Toronto, and you have now sent him on an investigative report.
And if you don't know what we're talking about, Shane thinks the Go Bus is way too cold.
So he has to wear a coat on the bus and then get out in 30 Celsius weather.
Yeah.
So how are we putting him on speaker? Here, I'll put my mic up.
Hello?
is this Spencer?
Yes, it is.
It's Shane.
How you doing? How's it going?
You've changed your voice since the last time we talked. You have more of a radio voice on now.
I have you on speaker. Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely. I just wanted to talk about your Go Bus experience, basically, because a lot of people have thought it's been only a problem I've had, and I was kind of picking on the people who run the Go Bus. So I just wanted for you to talk about your experience.
Okay, so I totally agree with you. So I usually take the train to Toronto from Burlington and then go bus back. But I took it this weekend on Saturday for the Beck concert. And, you know, it was, 40, 45 degrees out with, like, the humidity. Get on the bus, and like you said, I think it was a couple podcasts ago, it's nice at first for the first, 5-10 minutes, and then instant chills and super uncomfortable, basically freezing the whole time to Toronto. And then we took it back, same thing. Or at first he didn't even have it on, the bus driver, which was nice. It was a bit warm. I'm like, you know what, I'd rather take this over being super cold. And then he turned it on and it was freezing. And I even saw the tape, I think he posted on Instagram on the vents. Yeah, just super cold. And then I think I messaged you a few times, like just on the Mike on Much Instagram account. And I sent you a few videos. I had a few drinks. I was a bit tipsy, so I figured I was about to message you and say, I'll talk to the bus driver. And then you said, can you talk to the bus driver and record it? I'm like, okay, done.
You actually got the solution how to fix this problem. How often do you actually try to solve something and you just go through all this red tape and you never get the answer? But you got the answer.
Which is good.
Yeah, but I just want to. How much of a thrill was it for you when I answered your Instagram message?
Oh, I was stoked. Like, what? Well, for one, it was. Well, you're a dad now. It was like 1:30 in the morning, so I was even surprised that you're up.
I only stopped drinking during the pregnancy. Afterwards, I'm allowed to do whatever I want.
Okay, that's good then.
You couldn't hear the music from the strip club, could you?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Do you hear right now? I am in Niagara Falls right now. Can you hear it? I'm just outside the Downer.
Are you at a strip club?
Yeah, I'm at the Downer.
Oh, nice.
I'm just kidding.
I asked you to also ask people around the bus, because you went around and actually did a survey and asked everyone on the top part of the bus if it was cold, and what were the results of that?
So I just had like hands up who's absolutely freezing right now, and there's a couple girls, they're just coming back from the club, and they're all freezing. They're like, it's fucking freezing here, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, don't worry, we're making changes here.
Making changes.
I went down and talked to the bus driver after everyone got off, and I swear he knew I was recording too. Like I had my phone off, but I had like the phone kind of up towards him, and he kept looking at it.
Because don't worry, we're going to alter your voice for this anyway, so you don't have to worry about getting like busted.
No, that's not necessary. That's fine. So,
Okay, so right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the clip. And this was very exciting when I got this footage. I was a little disappointed because I thought you would have recorded when you did the survey asking people, because that would have been great content. So I had to chastise you a little bit.
That was kind of last minute. As I was getting up, I'm like, screw it, I'm just going to...
Yeah, but you should have known still.
My apologies.
Because I am putting you in the running for the intern contest also, because we haven't gotten enough submissions. So.
Okay, done. I was actually I was listening on the way out to Niagara Falls today.
Okay.
I was going to, I'll apply for that.
Okay, perfect. You just have to do a video. Keep it under 60 seconds so it can live on Instagram. And then we're already considering you, but the video will help your chances.
Okay, that's perfect. Sounds good.
All right, but we're going to cut to the audio, and then I'm going to tell the guys, because they're obviously not going to be able to listen to the audio you sent me, what the solution was.
I forget what the solution is.
You don't even remember. How hammered were you?
Spencer, how you doing?
Terry.
Quick question.
Yes, sir.
Can you guys regulate the AC?
Yeah.
Do you have like a dial, or is it just either an on or off switch?
Well, we can regulate it.
Because
colder or higher.
So I've had I have numerous friends that travel from here to Toronto daily, and always it's absolutely even all the girls here are freezing today.
You can tell the driver.
Okay. Yeah. Because even if you go upstairs, I didn't look today.
Turn it off like these.
But half the vents on the side, they're all tapes because people are even
they're taping them?
Yeah, because even last week when it was 45 degrees out. My buddy was, not my buddy, acquaintance was sending he sent me a picture, and people were bringing coats on the bus because it was so cold.
Okay. The only reason why we turn on the AC,
well, obviously it's hot,
because it's hotter up there.
Yeah, yeah.
And the windows you cannot do anything with.
Yeah.
So if we turn it off, we cannot accommodate everybody.
Oh, of course.
So if we turn it off, then somebody's gonna say, "Oh, it's too hot."
Oh yeah, of course.
It's worse to
I just think that it's always too cold.
Yeah. But if it's really, really cold, just tell the driver, it's really, really cold upstairs. Because sometimes we're not aware. We just set it at 20, 21.
Okay.
Okay, which is the normal temperature. What do you call it? The regulated regulation, right?
Yep.
By regulation.
Yeah, okay.
So we set it like that.
Okay.
Right? If you tell us, as a customer, you tell us, oh, it's too cold, and then we'll just turn it off.
Okay, for sure.
Right? Until somebody says, driver's too hot. Then we'll turn it on again.
For sure, I'll definitely pass that on.
For sure.
Okay,
yeah, you get them.
Okay.
Yeah, have a good night.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, so the solution is if you ask the bus driver, he'll turn down the air conditioning.
Right. Wow. I know, but I think he said that he keeps it at 21 degrees Celsius, which I convert to I keep everything in Fahrenheit for temperature wise. That's 67 degrees. That's way too cold. Even if they keep it at a higher, even just a tad warmer all the time, so then we wouldn't have to complain and get them to turn it off. You know what I mean?
I agree.
So I'm surprised this hasn't even been sorted yet.
Do you know what I think they should do? Make an announcement every trip. Just if it is cold, come talk to me, because I'm very intimidated to talk to the Go Bus driver.
Well, I would be too, but I had a couple of drinks, right? So
yeah. And you had the power of the pod behind you.
Yes, exactly, that too. Well, I thought of a business opportunity as well.
Let's hear it.
Well, you take the bus every day, right?
I do.
Toronto?
Yeah.
Well, you can either sell or rent blankets. Blankets, coats, keep the people warm. $5 a ride.
It's a good one. All right, Spencer. Cue the music, boys. Sorry. Recording. Just a small part. I know you got to go, Matt. Okay, so I had an idea. Remember I said I have an idea you guys might not like?
Oh, yeah.
You know how when someone's offering someone anything, especially these days, it's first month free subscription, Audible, get the first 5 books free.
Hey, you get them in the door with a sweetener.
Exactly. And then they just stick around and then they're hooked.
Yeah.
What if I just gave people the digital dessert, just audio version, because they are interviews. I think a lot of them still work interview-wise. And I just tacked it on the end and just played it here right now. And for people who wouldn't actually make the effort to go to the YouTube, they're like, oh, fuck, these are actually good. And then they might be more apt to become a digital dessert intern and just be a fan of digital dessert and start changing their habits.
Do you think it'll work just audio-wise?
Yeah, because I listened to it the other day, just eyes closed.
We could try one.
Should I do the TJ Miller one?
Oh, I see. Okay.
Or the Jersey Shore one?
I think the Jersey Shore one.
Okay, because
I think. What do you think?
That's a good question. You're the producer.
Your
Max.
call. No, your call. You can choose whichever.
Oh, yeah. It's your dessert.
As an idea, you guys.
Let's give it a go.
Let's throw one on
Why
the
not?
end. Hey, so folks, if you want to listen to one of Shane's digital desserts right now, you don't have to do anything. There's no effort involved. But if you haven't already seen them and you're a listener to this pod, I'm shocked that you haven't gone yet. Yeah.
Because they need the free taste. So, if you don't like it, never go to even check out our YouTube channel. If you like it, please do.
Do it.
All right, this is Shane's digital dessert, and we got a situation up in here, but we don't have a situation in here. But unless you've been living under a cave, you will recognize the two people sitting next to me from Jersey Shore. But for all you cave dwellers, I will give their name. This is Vinny
Guadagnino.
And this is Deena. Okay, so there's obviously a lot of popular expressions that come out of Jersey Shore. GTL.
One shot, bro.
Cabs are here.
Cabs are here. Meatballs.
T-shirt time.
T-shirt time.
Meatball problems.
Okay, well, one that I'm thinking of is grenades. People are saying, oh, that term in 2018 isn't politically correct. And I was wondering, on this season, is that word used? If not, is there another word to kind of demean unattractive women that we can like playfully use to call them?
Well, we just call them fat girls now.
No.
You can't date a grenade.
Okay.
Well, I guess you can, but there's a misconception about what the word meant. And because a grenade, a cock-blocking friend.
It's usually the
It's
less
true.
pretty of the two.
If it was a hot girl, then you would gladly take her.
Of course.
But it doesn't mean fat. It can mean just ugly.
Okay.
All right, that makes it so much better.
But is the term used?
Well, we say everything.
Just a yes or no, Vinny.
No.
Yes, we say the fucking word grenade.
Oh, whoa. And the F-bomb in this interview. So I was wondering, how was the script this year?
Another misconception. I think that when you say scripted, people usually, what they mean is the typical reality show format of today we're talking about X.
If you're talking about X, do you ever say Y? Alphabet play.
I'll Z you later.
That one's a little over my Z.
All over my Z.
Hey, welcome to my world, V-Man.
Come on.
All right. But speaking of things you can and can't say, if I'm like, let's say, about to get to the state of arousal and I wanted to kind of be funny with my friends.
Why are you showing your aroused dick to your friends?
Yeah, that was a weird one.
I'm just trying to...
We need to get that down first,
Yeah,
and then go.
don't
to
worry about the context.
No, let's go there first, and then worry about what you're gonna say.
Speaking of which, actually, this isn't even a segue to that. Sammy Sweetheart, like she's not on this season.
She's in a really, really happy place right now with her new boyfriend.
Right.
I think if it was a different format, she would have done it.
Do you think if she was on the show, she would...
Smash Ron?
No.
Yes, smush
Oh,
him.
no.
Who would you rather smush? Between the two boyfriends.
Oh, between the two boyfriends. If I was a sheep and he was a sheep. Did you
Yeah.
ever see Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back?
No.
Oh.
I only watch art films.
Oh.
And Jersey Shore. What about you?
A married woman.
Oh, you're married?
Yeah.
Oh, everyone's moving on with their lives.
Yeah.
I wrote down notes. I can't.
Look like you're about to show us your dick.
No.
Like you did your friend.
What I was going to ask is Instagram followers. Snooki's like
10 million.
murdering it. Do you guys keep track of that? Is that something that you're concerned about?
I want to get him up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to get him up, but it's not like my priority.
I was noticing a trend though, and you probably know what I'm going to say. The most popular people on Instagram out of the Jersey Shore cast, what is the common denominator?
Being
Like-
really tan?
No.
No, because Jenny's not that tan.
But what's the common denominators that the popular people have, Deena?
Stories?
Nicknames.
Nicknames.
JWoww.
Snooki.
Situation has the least amount of followers.
Yeah, but he's about to JTL, if you know what I mean. Jail, tan, laundry.
Me? Me?
No, I would never joke about prison.
Yeah, I think a nickname
No.
is huge. I think a nickname helps
just humor me here. Giving you guys nicknames. It seems like you've been through this bit before.
No. I'd rather you do it because I feel like you can't give yourself a nickname.
Okay, so this could work out then.
Could.
I noticed that D is catchy. Like your last name is very hard to say, obviously.
Yeah.
Guadagnino.
So I was thinking of going Vinny D at first.
It's not a nickname.
And I was like, okay, Pauly D might get mad.
Oh, I got you.
But then I was like, what if we called you VD?
Ooh,
and it's like
the STD.
Like venereal disease.
Yeah. Right.
I don't
can feel
know.
that a little
you
bit.
like it?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah,
or no protection. And it's like you just never use protection.
Raw dog?
Raw dog.
Oh, I like that.
That's a good
Raw
one.
dog.
I like raw dog.
Why'd you just say that?
Oh, not like that.
No.
You just gave them the fucking
But
soundbite they want.
No.
Here, right?
Honestly, who doesn't like raw dogging?
Yeah.
It's just
raw dog, the nickname.
Yeah, but also sexually, it feels good. It's just dangerous.
That's true.
Like your new persona.
Yes. This girl said I like raw dog.
Oh my God, I didn't mean it like that.
Okay,
with my husband.
You raw dog with your husband.
Well, now they're trying to have a kid. So.
Yeah.
That's how I did it. And my wife's pregnant. Ronnie's having a kid.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of names for his, it's a daughter, right?
Yeah.
What do you think of Gelmo?
Gelmo?
Yeah, it's like Elmo, but it's like gel.
With hair gel?
Or Scoochie.
Scoochie? I like it.
Deena. What if it was Dean And so you go, hey, I'm Dean. You shotgun a beer, and then you go,
Or a shot.
Oh, now he's
like
laughing.
it.
I like that.
Kind of works.
Oh, that's
Dean.
sweet. That is nice.
That's dope.
I think that could work. But how would you write that on Instagram?
Dean
dash
A-H-H-H.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's an action too. It's like a verb that goes into it.
It's true.
It's not just something you say, it's something you do.
Millennials. How are you going to get them to watch?
Wait. Little kids don't recognize me anymore. Younger kids that are in their teens, like 13, that were too young to watch the show 10 years ago, they're going to be watching, and their parents are going to be watching.
Yeah.
So it's going to be like a fucking family event.
Okay, well, they're telling me to wrap up. I just got one question. Okay.
You don't wrap it up. We're raw dog, bro. Dean.
Say we're in an elevator. I'm a millennial in this scenario.
Oh, okay.
And you have to convince me to watch.
Okay.
Hi.
Oh, we're doing it now?
I guess.
Oh,
Okay.
Hi.
Hey, nice.
What's going on?
Nice Apple earpods.
You're creepy.
We have a show coming out April 5th called Jersey Shore Family Vacation. Your parents probably watched the original Jersey Shore.
Maybe my grandparents.
We used to run around and bang grenades.
Let me ask you, do you like to have a good time?
Well, that sounds like a loaded question. Of course I do.
Okay, so your friends learned it from your family.
You don't know
your
my friends.
family learned it from us.
Shut up.
You're so
you're a little
entitled.
brat.
You're
you know
entitled.
what? Go
You
freaking
need to
stay
go
in your
work.
room.
You need to go dig a ditch somewhere.
Yeah, go sit in your room and freaking go play with yourself.
You know what? I like the cut of your jib.
Do you know who this is?
1, 2, 3. Dean. Jersey Shore Family Vacation coming to MTV real soon. And now we dance.
Oh, is that happening?
Then we walk off. That's how the show is. Yeah. Coming in. You gotta leave
show you his aroused dick.
That's it. That's all. That is our episode. Thank you to Big Spence for calling in and getting to the bottom of that bus stuff. I hope you enjoyed Shane's Digital Dessert. Audio only. Go watch it on YouTube at Mike on Much.
You can find us online at Twitter and Instagram at Mike on Much. Huge thank you to Jenna Gregory and Tara Paquette for putting together the artwork. Subscribe to the damn show.
And don't forget about that Shane's Digital Dessert Intern Contest.
By the way, your promo last week was fucking
great.
hilarious.
Yeah, it was very funny.
So good. We should have said that sooner. But maybe people are still listening.
Yeah, good job.
Thank you.
The Mike on Much podcast is produced by Max Kerman. I'm your host, Mike Vierman. See you next week if we don't die on the weekend.